Welcome to the special broadcast. I have with me Aga Syed Ruhullah Mehdi, who is the Member Parliament and also a former member of Legislative Assembly, Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly, and also the erstwhile state's Home Minister. Aga Mehdi Saab, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Mehdi Saab, tell us these elections are happening after 10 years. How are you seeing these elections? How are they different from previous elections?
They are very different because these elections are happening after the decisions of August 5, 2019, when the status of this state was degraded. The constitutional guarantees were abrogated without the consent and concurrence of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. 370, as you know it. So this election is to the institution which would either legitimize those decisions or give its dissent against those decisions. So it's very significant in those terms for the people of Jammu and Kashmir to elect those people who would express the actual sentiment, and that is that the people of Jammu and Kashmir do not subscribe or accept the decisions taken on August 2019. And we do not accept this degraded status where we feel that we are second-class citizens.
These elections are also being compared to the 1977 elections because before that, the posts of Prime Minister and post of Sadr Riyasat were removed, and the jurisdiction of Supreme Court of India and Election Commission of India extended to the state. And also some see parallel between the 1987 elections because at that time many, a platform like the Muslim United Front participated in elections. But people are also saying that at that time it was an organic process. But this time we are seeing mushrooming of independent candidates, which your party has said on record that these are somehow proxies and this doesn't look like an organic process. Would you like to throw some light on this?
In a way, yes, I agree with the comparisons of particularly 77, because the people would still remember that the parent organization of BJP, the then Janata Party, was equally aspiring in Jammu and Kashmir, and they were a force
to reckon with.
And a force which was collected by assembling certain individuals in Jammu and Kashmir. And that force was all directed at National Conference at that time as well. So it's repeating in a way that the organization, which is now known as BJP, is the center force of all those allies, those who want to, direct their energy at National Conference and the sentiment of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Those who want to legitimize the decisions of August 5, those who want to legitimize at the behest of BJP, the decisions that were taken against the people of Jammu and Kashmir, are all against a National Conference. And National Conference is the flag bearer, though it has its own, mistakes and flaws in the past. But having realized its mistakes, now I understand it has come to the point where it understands it needs to represent the actual sentiment of the people of this state. So I could easily say that National Conference is again the flag bearer of the sentiments of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and all those forces are rallying around BJP to counter National Conference or defeat National Conference, which represents the actual sentiment of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And again, you could have, as you compared it with 1987, you could see those organizations who otherwise boycotted the elections for the last 3-4 decades are now again either seen as independent candidates or in different shapes. So again, there's an understanding not only in National Conference but among the people that these elements, either knowingly or unknowingly, help the cause of BJP, and that's the division of the votes in Valley, because BJP wants to consolidate Jammu on communal grounds and then fragment the vote in Valley. And this fragmentation is held by every individual or organization, those who add up to the a number of candidates in Valley, knowingly or unknowingly. It again serves the purpose. So the similarities are there. But it's for the people of Jammu and Kashmir to differentiate what side represents what, and I would want to believe that this is more organic than 1987. The National Conference and its narrative and its direction is more organic. It has its, mistakes, and it has its lessons from the mistakes, and we see the writing on the wall, and we would not want to go against that writing on the wall. We would want to stand for the people of Jammu and Kashmir and its
Aga
sentiments.
your critics are saying that in your manifesto, which is a very detailed one, like the PDP also has a manifesto, and both parties sort of promise restoration of 370 statehood, and they're also kind of batting for or favoring talks with Pakistan. But the critics are arguing that how can a disempowered assembly, which you yourself call a disempowered assembly under the lieutenant governor, who has now, more powers than before. So how would a resolution passed in the assembly change the status quo or bring back things pre-August 4, 2019?
Resolution is not a binding, I understand that, we know that, but resolution is a way of expression that as BJP would want to propagate, as they have propagated already, that the decisions taken on August 5, the abrogation of Article 370, has the concurrence and consent of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Resolution, though it is not a binding, but it represents the sentiment and counters the BJP's propaganda and their argument that the people of Jammu and Kashmir have not consented to the decisions taken on August.
Understood. But what is the roadmap for restoration? Because as we see it, either a geopolitical upheaval or a parliamentary majority when you have a like-minded government in Delhi, and or maybe the Supreme Court turns down its decision and a larger bench listens to the petition again. So these things as of now seem very remote from reality. So what is the pragmatic approach, for your, if we talk about the manifesto, the promises that you are making?
The return of rights and dignity, including Article 370, will come through a process. We'll have to go on a struggle. And reclaiming the space is the first step of that process. Reclaiming the space democratically, reclaiming the space in institution, though they are, degraded. But there is a space that BJP would want to occupy, denying them that occupation and reclaiming that space. And then through those institutions, you need to start that struggle. Through those institutions, you will express.
Are you suggesting, for example, if National Conference wins and forms a government with its alliance partner, you have pre-poll alliance with the Congress. So you are seeing that as a verdict against the changes made on August 4, 2019?
It absolutely will be a verdict against the changes made on August 2019. Not only that, with the verdict, with the mandate, democratic mandate of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, this government will look forward to go to the Supreme Court again. This government will look forward to go to the people of India again. We have allies. We have allies in South India. We have allies, those who are like-minded. We have allies in, east of India, that's Bengal. Those who believe in federal structure, more strengthened federal structure of India. And the language is almost that of the 370. They need to be, made.
But why is Congress shying away from mentioning the word, mentioning 370? It does talk about statehood, restoration of statehood, but it is sort of silent on the issue of 370.
I would want to believe that the principal stand of Congress is that which the CWC of Congress has taken immediately after
abrogation.
The abrogation of 370, because in that CWC meeting they resolved that the 370 was and is the right of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and its abrogation was unconstitutional. So I would want to believe that the principal stand of the Congress as an organization is that it which was the resolution of the CWC. But given the atmosphere, the conditions in political atmosphere in the rest of India, one would understand that it's too, hard, too, politically heavy on cost for Congress to go openly and then, campaign in favor of Article 370.
But sir, I have a supplementary question. Yeah, I'll let you complete. There is PDP is saying that all these independent candidates, even Engineer Rashid, they are like proxies, or Sajad Lone is a proxy. But if PDP and your party are on the same page, why is that then the PAGD, so kind of disillusioned and you're not fighting elections together? What is the reason?
I tried a lot for PAGD to stay intact, but unfortunately, as I said the last time, the atmosphere that needs to be provided from the other side was not provided. I mean, if you humiliate the founding father of National Conference, who, I mean, if not everyone, but most of the people in the state still hold him in high regard. If you humiliate him, his name, his stature, if you humiliate the, I mean, organization as a whole, yeah, then you wouldn't be expecting, you shouldn't be expecting to continue in an alliance. That's why I quoted a couple of examples. One was that from the founding day celebrations or whatever that event was. This beginning of that bad mouthing, or I mean, mudslinging happened from there. Then it went on, and they spoke against Sheikh Saab even. Therefore, the atmosphere, then the chain took over, the cycle took over. From this side, we have many statements. The atmosphere went out of hand. Voices like me, people like me who would want to see PAGD continuing, couldn't, I mean, find anyone helping this. So PAGD was an effort to unite and achieve certain objective. National Conference, with or without PAGD, stands committed to that objective. And if the other organization or organizations in future realize that we need to, I mean, shed our differences, learn from our mistakes, and unite for that objective, I'm still, as an individual, I'm still open for that.
You have been a star campaigner for the National Conference, and people have like showered accolades on you. You spoke about Article 370 for the last 5 years. And also during the assembly elections, you from the National Conference and Wahid Para from the PDP, there was some kind of, people were seeing a ray of hope as far as the narrative was concerned, that both of you stayed away from attacking each other. But what went wrong? I'm trying to understand what went wrong within 3 months or 4 months, that now PDP and NC are like, you are every day there is something or the other against each other.
I mean, you could see from the language used by Mehbooba ji. I mean, at times she gets very personal about the, I mean, members of National Conference. I would want to, I mean, give the specifications. It's unfortunate. I mean, the objective that was collectively for us to achieve has been forgotten. But electoral gains have been given the priority. I don't see, but I should be, I mean, thankful to my organization. It's not as bad as it is from PDP side. I, as an individual, tried in my own elections, as you said, not to go personal, not to, I mean, mention person, to speak. I prioritize speaking about the policies and what the greater goal is. That should have been the behavior of PDP as well as an organization, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to be. They always tend to go personal, lose temperament at certain points. This should be, I mean, an alarming thing for us. We have a greater objective to achieve. We cannot be slinging mud at each other. We need to unite for a purpose, for a cause.
There is also criticism of the National Conference, especially when it says that we will fight. But the fight seems to somehow remain limited to knocking the doors of the Supreme Court. But there is no, like, you have seen what happened in Bangladesh recently. You have seen the Arab Spring. Why is street not be a part of your larger, kind of protest against what happened in August?
Well, I'm all for that. I never.
I mean,
said,
is peaceful protest not part of a democratic exercise?
That's my narrative from the beginning. And I countered my own my own organization, National Conference, when I felt that the National Conference is delegitimizing street protests. I reminded my organization that peaceful protest is part of democracy. Now, since we seek to, I mean, occupy a space, democratic space, then from this space we may be able to, I mean, mobilize the activities through which we could protest. Going to Supreme Court is not the only option for
available.
us. That is part of the process, as I said, part of the struggle, as I said. But hitting the streets, not only hitting the streets in Jammu and Kashmir, but as I said, we'll go and talk to the like-minded parties in rest of the country. I, for an example, individually, I'm looking forward, if we get to form a government in Jammu and Kashmir, it will be easier for me to invite parties from other parts of the country and invite the members, MPs from other side of other parts of the country and make an interaction between those and them and the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and mobilize an opinion to, like the way
take the message across,
like the BJP government today invited an orchestrated delegation. We would want to get a genuine delegation from the rest of India and show them, expose them to the reality of the state. So there's a multiple level approach to this struggle, and going to Supreme Court is not the only option. That is one of the options, part of the struggle. And yes, we will have to, the way, as I said in the recent past, the way we mobilize for the elections, we need to mobilize for
one last question. What would you say to the critics, and how will you give hope to people who are now casting votes in a process that whatever has been lost to Kashmir, be it the post of Prime Minister, Sadr Riyasat, or other property, right to land, owning land, immovable property, other things. How are you giving hope to people when everything has been lost in the last 75 years?
It's a collective struggle. It's not an individual struggle. It's not a struggle for a particular party. It's a collective struggle. And I can assure the people of Jammu and Kashmir that National Conference as an organization, I as an individual stand committed to it. We'll take every opportunity, every institution to start the process for the return of rights. Every opportunity, that means if we have an institution where we can frame law and then secure the right of land, right of job, right of, many other things, will not lose that opportunity. And anything that deviates
you have also said, if even in the National Conference somebody even thinks about allying with the BJP,
anything that deviates National Conference as an organization from this objective will be countered by me, and I'll stand there at that moment by the people and for the people. So this is, there are levels of struggle. We need to realize that this is a collective. This is,
and you say it's a multi-pronged
struggle and fight, and this has to be a collective fight. This should not end at assembly elections. This assembly election should give the people an opportunity
to express,
and then give them the space. At least they could feel that now the administration is at a certain level which is favorable for their expression. That should take that fear from them, which otherwise, kept them from coming out and expressing them. So this is a collective effort, and we hope to continue on this struggle.
Well, on that note, we thank Ruhullah Mehdi for this interview. And what he's saying is that he is the man who will stand in between if even any individual within the National Conference even thinks about allying with the BJP. And he also says that these assembly elections will pave the way for a multi-pronged strategy to get back the rights. And also, on another note, he says that this is just the beginning and things will continue. Thank you very much for watching.